Hello, today I'm going to show you how I built this billing system and briefly show the source code that I used to build the system. This is the main form, and before that, let's see the login screen. This is the login screen, and the code behind the button is same if you follow my previous tutorials. Uh, First, we check for the validation and check if the username and password is there or not. If they are not enter the both username and password, then the validation will message will appear. Please remove the errors, and then we check if the username and password is correct by using this valid function that is defined in this main class. And if the username and password is not correct, then message will appear, else we create an instance of frm main and then show the frm main and hide this login form. On the main form, I have created these buttons, and for this add button I have created a panel. By default, this panel is visibility is equal to false, so it will not be shown when the main form is run, and whenever we click on this add button, then this panel will show. And remaining things are, if you following the previous tutorials, they are same. I have created this function add controls, and use these functions to add control this to this center panel to show the view form. So in this tutorial I have used a new code that will automatically generate the code for the insert, update and delete. Let me show you one. Let's start with product form. This is the product form, and on this load we use the load data function, and in the load data function we provide this query and use this main class and this load data function to load the data into grid view. And on the text to search box, whenever we type some value, the same function is used. And on double clicking the grid view, we create an int id which will store the id, and then we open the frm main product add form and pass the id to that form. And when this form is closed, we refresh the data and fetch the data from the database and load it into category view. Same in this add button, we open this frm add button and refresh the data from the database when the form is closed. And let me show you the product add form. This is the product add form, and on data there are two main things. It's the save button and then the delete button. And on save button, first on the form load event, I have checked if the id is greater than 0. That means the form need to be edit load the data from the database. So this is also a function that I used, in which parameters is provided is the form. As you see over here, the first parameter is form, then you need to provide the table name and the edit id. So this function will do is go to the database, fetch all the values against this id, and automatically see which field value goes from where. Like in the database, the product name will auto populate in this product name and cost and price and picture. All the things will be done automatically. And for this save button, also first we check the validations, perform validations. If they are true, not true, then we return. Also we check if id is 0, then we going to insert the data in the database. So this is the main function that is being used. This is same like this auto edit function. This function will do is to create automatically the insert query, and then parameterize insert query, and then automatically add the parameters and its values from the fields, and then insert it in the database. And if the edit id is greater than 0, that means we need to update the data, so this update query will work. And if you wanted to delete, same function is used, but only thing changed is this type, enum type, that is delete, here is update, here is insert. So in single function all the things will be provided. Also there is no message box is given over here. This is just for to reset the id field and all the form fields and the image. There is no message box. This function will automatically send will show the messages like your data is inserted, updated, or deleted. So let me briefly explain this function. If we go to the definition, this is the function that I have write, and this is fairly long function. As you can see, there is line 145 and next is 135, but 38 almost, it's 200 lines. So how it will work? First first thing we going to need is what are the what are the table fields. When we know the table fields, then we will be able to create parameterize query for insert or update or delete. Then when we have the parameterized query, then we need to provide the parameters to the query and the values from the form fields. So the code will see the values from the form and create the parameters and then provide the values from the field. Further thing we need is the data types, as we have many data types in the database, as it can be an integer, can be a decimal, or a picture, or a date. So we need to adjust those as well, so that when the values are passing to the parameters, they are converted according to the data type. And further one more thing is that this code will need to know which value comes from which field, as there are many fields like there are text boxes, there are combo boxes, there are check boxes, there are picture box. So there are a lot of fields. So the code need to know data is coming from which kind of field and how the data will be converted. As in the text box, we just simply need to select the text, but in case of combo box, we need to know if it is a combo box that has filled data from the database, or it is just manually entered the values. So we need to pick the text box. Same for the pictures, and pictures we need to convert them, as well as if we going to use strings, or we going to use the integer value, decimal value, so we need conversion. So this code will accommodate all those things that I have told you. And the same is for the edit form. In this form we also get the fields from these tables, and then see what are the fields names, and then get those fields name and populate the form according to the field name. So in this function, same functionality as I did define above we need. Only thing we do not need in this function is to create a query and provide the parameters to it. So these two functions are fairly same. So this is the main function I have used. So that function is only work if our data is going in a single table. like product table, there is no other table is involved. So we are going to use save function to the every table that has single product, single table, like this customer table. Same this much lines of code we are going to use only. There is no need to write lengthy codes. And same is for the payments, as it is also a single line. So this is the payment, and this is product, but only purchases and sales have forms that are being used two tables for the data entry. As let me show you. This is the billing system DB, and this is the tables. These two tables, the TBL invoice details and TBL invoice name. These two tables are used in this purchase form and in sale data entry. Here we have another field view in which we enter the products details, and these are the fields for the main table. And same thing, one line code is being used to save the data. Let me show you at the end. This is the save code from here to here, and this code will do is, if we skip this one, this is for the if we say make the purchases on cash, so cash entry will be done. Else we need single line code for insertion or for the update, or insertion or delete. There is no more lengthy codes need to write, only one line. And this function is also defined in the main class, but this function is fairly long, as we need to know insert the values in two tables, and there is a grid view involved in this. So this function is fairly little bit complex, as it has to see the each data grid itself, and then check which column and rows value goes in database column. So this second function is used to insert the data where there are two tables involved, like master and detail, and this function is used to load the data again for the edit. And for edit function we need to provide the query. If we wanted to edit the data, we need to provide the query, as when we enter the data, it is done through some form fields or some automation. So so we have to provide a query in order to edit. As a single table edit, there is no need to provide query. So this is the main functions that I have used in order to insert, update, delete the queries. This is the code that I used to create these systems before I creating the tutorials. As you can see, in tutorials we have to write a lot of code in order to achieve that. So this is the brief source code, that explanation of code I have used. If you wanted to learn this, please subscribe to my channel, so that it will help me to create more contents, as currently above 80% people are seeing my videos but not subscribing to my channel. So I am requesting you to please subscribe to my channel if you wanted to learn this code. Thank you.